Okay, this is Dave Victorino. He's going to be talking about his keeping warm where there is no electricity. Dave taught me to think warm thoughts.
That's right, think warm thoughts. That's one method, but we're going to be talking about kerosene heaters today. So in our house, when the power goes out and it's cold outside, we use kerosene heaters to keep the home warm. And just wanted to give you a few pieces of information to be prepared to use one. So you can find these kerosene heaters for sale at Lowe's, Home Depot, or Tractor Supply. They can run you anywhere from about $100 to $130. We have found that they provide an excellent source of heat in the home. So just a few pieces of information. Before you need to use a kerosene heater, you need to do some prep work. It needs to be filled with fuel, and you also need to make sure the wick is turned up and ready to light. Now this one here I've taken apart. You may have a hard time seeing it, but in here where my finger is the wick.
You can see that?
That wick needs to soak for 1 hour before it is ready to light. So before you need to use it, it needs to be filled with fuel and the wick soaking for 1 hour. Then you can light it. And kerosene heaters have multiple different ways they can be lit. On this one, now both the ones I have here, there's a button here that you can push for the igniter, which is battery powered and will pop up and light the wick. You can also use a match or any other flame source that you can safely reach in and start the wick on fire with. A couple of safety precautions. You don't want to fill these indoors. You always fill the fuel tank outdoors, so you don't fill it where you're lighting it. You also don't store the fuel next to where you're going to burn the heater, because you don't want all the fuel stored next to it, because these will get anywhere from 300 to 500 degrees. So you want to keep them about 4 feet away from anything else in your house that could be flammable. You don't want pets to get too close to them, because they could brush up against them and burn themselves, or potentially knock one over and cause a fire. Those are really some of the safety precautions. As you're using one, after on the second tank of fuel, I recommend that you let the heater burn completely out. If you don't turn it off, you can take it outdoors and let the flame go out after it's burned out all the fuel. And the reason for that is a kerosene heater will build up tar on the wick, and the tar will cause the wick to not burn cleanly, and you'll get more smoke and more fumes coming from it. So you want that tar to burn off
by using up all the oil.
By using up all the fuel in it, it'll burn the fuel off.
Every second tank?
I do it every second tank.
Okay.
Some people do it every third tank, but I do it every second tank. And that will burn the tar balls off. If you don't do that, you may need to reach in there with like a pair of pliers onto the wick, and you can break up the tar ball with a pair of pliers and then light your wick. Now like this one, I said we've taken it apart, we've removed some of the pieces so you can see inside of it. This is what one fully put together looks like.
And you can cook on that. I know we've cooked on ours.
Yes, it gets hot enough to cook. We also, if you're running a kerosene heater for a period of time, it's recommended you put like a teapot or something up here with water, because it'll dry out your home, so you keep some moisture in your home. You also want to make sure that if you're going to go and buy fuel, you'll need one of these nice blue kerosene fuel tanks.
It has to be blue.
It has to be blue. They will not sell you kerosene if you show up with one for gasoline, which is red, or one for diesel, which is yellow. And it's also dangerous to put kerosene. If you fill a container that's had gasoline with kerosene and then put it into your heater, because when you light it, it can cause an explosion, because the gasoline fumes will still be there and you can have an explosion. I also recommend, to eliminate or reduce the amount of spillage, is that you use one of these type of pumps. You can actually stick it into your fuel tank and put it into this fuel tank, and all you have to do is squeeze it, and it will pump fuel into your tank. And it reduces the amount of spillage that you'll get than if you just try to pour from your tank directly into the kerosene heater.
Where do you get those?
You can buy these at Lowe's or Home Depot or Tractor Supply, anywhere that sells the kerosene heaters. They usually will sell the tanks and the pump. You can also buy kerosene in metal cans at Home Depot or Lowe's. So K1 kerosene is what you want to burn. They will usually tell you right on the device that you can use K1 kerosene. Yeah, it says right here, K1 kerosene only, so that's what you want to use. It's the only fuel that's safe to use in these.
I was even nervous kind of about
There you go.
today, and then I was like,
Thank you, Dave.
You're welcome.
Think warm thoughts.
Yes,
too.
think warm thoughts.